I'm running for U.S. Congress from the 11th Michigan District, and that covers around 750,000 people, out of which usually about 200,000 vote. It covers a wide spectrum of people, and it's a race that has an open seat. So the current Congresswoman, her name is Haley Stevens, she's running for Senate. And whenever there is an open seat, it is a good opportunity for a newcomer to be able to attempt to get into the seat. So I have actually decided many years ago, about 12 years ago, I decided to run for Congress. And I'm a practicing urologist. And during the process of practicing urology, a few things alerted me to the importance of politics in our life as Indian Americans. From the American perspective, the things that drove me to go into politics was the declining healthcare in America. We spent about $4.3 trillion, but our care is not as good as the best in the world. Patients that I saw when I started my practice would be very proud to have the best medical care and the best pharmaceutical medicines. In about 15 to 20 years after my onset of practice, started to say, Dr. Kumar, I don't have that much money to buy those pills, which alerted me to saying we have a problem in America with respect to healthcare. And having been part of leadership at hospitals and the medical associations, I thought it would be helpful with my knowledge to be able to do something to correct that problem. The other inciting factor is education. Now, I am an elected Board of Governors at Wayne State University. It's a statewide election. So 1.2 million people voted for me. I've been on the board for many years. And the importance there was, again, twofold. 30% of rural and urban American students cannot speak English or do math to the level of their education.
30%.
30%. So when you're looking at a generation 25 years from now, you're looking at these kids will grow up to be doctors, engineers, lawyers. Is that what we want our country to look forward to? Whereas in the rest of the world, including my motherland, India, our kids are absolutely doing class one education. China, for example. And so being American Indian or Indian American, our children, grandchildren are going to grow up here. A lot of our Indian immigrants are going to be coming for a better country. And so it became very eminent that I need to look into that also. So those were the driving forces with respect to the Americana part of me. The Indian part of me was when Modi ji was a governor or chief minister of Gujarat, and there were issues. I attended a fundraiser for one of the congressmen that was hosted by the Pakistani doctors. I'm very cosmopolitan, so I was invited for it. And they raised about $110,000 that they gave this congressperson, basically to ensure that Modi ji does not get a visa to come to America at that time. And it kind of brought to my realization that we as Indian Americans or Hindu Americans don't do that. And so we may be building huge castles, but we don't have the protection of the politics to protect our castles. I've always said that as Indian Americans, we are the highest per capita income. We are educated, the best surgeons, the best doctors, best engineers. IT has no bounds. But all this is not protected because politically we are so weak. that we have no standing. And so that was the Indian perspective of me that started to think, no, I do need to jump into politics. So since then, I have been involved, and we have awoken a lot of our community members.
And you have run multiple times. So
I have. So I've run for Congress, and then I ran for the Board of Governors, which I got elected. And so the bottom line is, those races were the difficult races. They were in what we call as the purple districts. That means you have a Republican person who is in the seat, and because as a newcomer you're not going to get red carpet into a Democrat seat to become a congressperson. I had to start my career in the difficult ones, and we made a lot of changes. As a matter of fact, the district that I ran for, and that's the same district I'm running now, um, we pretty much I set up the platform for Haley Stevens to win that seat because she got a lot of support from the Democrat Party, which they did not give me. Now the district has changed because there is something called gerrymandering here, where the original uh, silhouette or the boundaries of the district were quote unquote gerrymandered to suit one party or the other. And since the district lines have changed, the district has now become Democrat. And that's where this Haley Stevens was our elected member. Now she's running for Senate. So that leaves the seat open. And so therefore, I'm taking the opportunity now to run in a Democrat seat. And that is exactly what we as Indian Americans have to face, because both the parties that we support are actually looking for our support, but they do not like to see us in the leadership roles. So, this seat being open, they want their own candidate to run for it, which is no problem as long as it was level playing field for the primary elections. Normally, when parties have elections in their districts, till the primary parties normally do not get involved because they don't want to interfere supporting one candidate over the other in the same party. Well, recently, since Trump has come in, the Democrats are very gung ho on picking their own candidates. Now, the advantage to them is that they can control the activities of these candidates when they get elected to Congress, for example. And I'll give you an example. For example, we have 5 or 6 congressional elected members that are of Indian origin in the Democrat Party, but none of them really support India or the Hindu causes because the party policy is what they follow. So, having looked into that, I feel very strongly my purpose of getting into Congress is not to be a congressperson, but to really be able to make a change. Number one, healthcare and education, which with the two-party system they keep fighting and nothing happens. And number two, as an Indian American, to see how we can help Indian Americans and India at large. If I were to go from the Democrat Party by itself and get elected, I will still be controlled by the party, which is what I see that the rest of the elected members are doing. So by going as independent, which will have a better chance than being in the party candidate. Normally, it is tough to do that. There are a few things that are different this time.
okay,
Number one, there is also a person who was a mayor of Detroit who's done a lot of good for Detroit City. Basically, he's brought Detroit City from bankruptcy out to prosperity. And he had the same issue that I had, that the Democrat Party was trying to pre select who should be the governor. And so he's running as independent.
okay.
So having him as a trailblazer, I definitely stand a great chance of following him. And luckily, he's supporting me too.
Oh, wonderful. Great.
The second issue is that it is a deep blue district. So the Republicans know that they are not going to be able to elect a Republican in that seat. So I have a lot of friends who are physicians and others who are Republicans. I will be able to get their support. Thirdly, this is the first time in decades in America that 45% people, voters, identify themselves as independents and not as Democrat or Republican. Normally, the ratio used to be 35% Democrats, 35% Republicans. So that gets a 70, and 25 to 30% would be independents. So I have a bigger independent group. And finally, there is a primary for the Democrat who's running. There are four other candidates running as Democrats. Once the person who's pre-chosen gets elected, then I have three or four others whose voters will be unhappy with him, and knowing that I still am a Democrat will vote for me. So based on these calculations and numbers, my chances have doubled to run as an independent and become a congressman. So I'm really what I call as true Indian. My father came from Lahore when he was a young man. They moved to Jaipur in Rajasthan before partition. My mother's side comes from Lucknow. I was born in Jaipur, but when I was like 2 or 3 years old, we moved to then Bombay, now Mumbai. And of course, all my upbringing was done in Mumbai. I went to medical school there. I did my residencies in cardiothoracic surgery and Tata Memorial Hospital. And I really did not come to America because I wanted to make a change in India. Because I said, if everybody leaves India, then who will take care of our country, our people? But during my residency years, I realized that the system that we had at that time, and thanks to Modi ji, much has changed, that I would be wasting my life. So I decided to move out of the country. I went to England, I did orthopedic surgery there, and then I came to Detroit. I came to Detroit in 1984, and Wayne State University actually sponsored my green card based on research. And ever since then, of course, I met a wonderful person who's from a small town in America, and she was a medical student. So we got married in 1986, and it's 39 years. We have two children, two boys. They both went to Wayne State. They're both into medicine, and they're both settling now. So it's perfect time for me to get into public service. And so it has been a good life. I am very proud to be Indian, proud to be Hindu, and America is the best country in the world. We as Indians would like us our own country. We have a history that we as Bharat were the best in the world with the highest GDP and prosperity, but we let it go. And part of the analysis that I have is because we did not protect ourselves politically and physically. So, learning the lessons from history as Indian Americans, I would like to see our children be politically involved, our communities be politically involved, and especially because America, US, is a republic. It's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic, which means basically that we need our representation. And so, unless as we get together in a tribal form and represent our own communities and be protective of our faith and our culture and our being a group in America, then we are not likely to succeed as well. We are very successful, but that can go away if we are not united. And that is my idea of serving in Congress, to enhance our people to realize this, get united, get representation, and then succeed. Also, the resources. And one of the deficiencies that we have in our thought process as Indian Americans is that we do not contribute financially towards politics. And that is our undoing, because without money, without without the financial strength, we will not be able to get elected. We will not be able to also get support from other elected persons to actually help us. And it is actually, in a way, it is very circuitous. If you give money to these elected officials, then they favor you to get money back in terms of grants, in terms of uh, positions, which again, funnels back into your ability to give more money. That part our community has not understood. For example, the Pakistani community has understood it very well. They give a lot of money to the elected officials. So, in raw terms, $3 billion are given to Pakistan, out of which 1 billion stays in the pockets of the elites. 1 billion goes into the function for which it is needed. 1 billion comes back to fund the elected, and it just progressively gets better. I think once our community gets that concept, and we have the money, per capita income is $110,000 a year. The median Indian American is about 50 or so. So it's not the lack of money; it's the concept is missing. Once we change that, then I think we will be protected and we will be able to actually excel much better and be protected and be respected for who we are. Involvement first. Number one is the most important thing is involvement. Uh, Involvement means get elected also, right from the grassroots, school boards, commissions, city councils, small positions. They don't need your full time work, but that gives the representation and the awareness of the American community and the acceptance of the Indian community. We are by far the most law abiding, the most family oriented, the most education oriented citizens that give a lot to the country back. But we don't get the recognition because we are not there to build up the relationships. So that's number one. And number two is donate money. The Jewish community donates about $19 per person.
$19 per person.
The Muslim is about $8 to $9. The Indian Americans, basically Hindu Americans, is about 35 cents.
35 cents. Okay.
So now you can see the return, therefore, is similarly. And just not the monetary return, it's the recognition, the ability to change, the ability to be recognized as 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 people who are contributing to society here. So we are basically, by not donating, not getting what we deserve.
Wonderful.
And that should change. If that changes, our kids and grandchildren will be presidents, congressmen, senators in the future.